Coffee with Joy. I'm your favorite host, Joy, with Coffee with Joy talk show and podcast. So excited to have you all here. Can you believe it? This year is almost over. We have just about 20 something odd days. Of course, I'm a calendar buff, but didn't keep up with it. But we have something like 20 odd days left of today's the second. So yeah, we only have 28, 20, 30 days, 29 days. You got it. Yeah, that whole math. We got that whole time. So I hope that you all are enjoying the season. The weather is great. I love the cold. I hope that you all love the cold. Well, today I'm so excited to have my guest Sharon Taylor as we talk about grants. Are you in the business? Are you in the business of bringing people on? Are you in the business of wanting more money? Are you in the business of looking for money on how to really transfer and grow your business? Well, today I have Miss Taylor, who's going to talk about Sharon Taylor, who's going to talk about how to get grants, how small business operate, and so much more. So where the money resides, we're going to have Miss Taylor tell us where it resides. So after these messages, we're going to have my guest, Miss Sharon Taylor. Advertise your business on our podcast. Connect with us, the Coffee with Joy Talk Show podcast, and let's grow together. Email us So welcome Miss Sharon Taylor to Coffee with Joy. Thank you so much for being a guest on our show. Can you tell people a little bit about yourself? And then we're going to jump right in all about grants.
Well, thank you, for Joy, for having me. Again, my name is Sharon Taylor. I'm the CEO and founder of the Business Vision and Development Center. A little bit about the center is that we serve small businesses in underserved communities. We operate as a small business resource. About myself, I'm an Air Force veteran. I am also a program analyst at the Small Business Administration, and I'm a Ward 7 Southeast DC resident. And thank you again so much for having me.
Yes, thank you so much for being on with Coffee with Joy Talk Show and Podcast. So we know many people are starting up new adventures, but it's always, where's the money? How can I get the money? How can I apply for the money? And you've been doing grants for a while. So can you tell us what are grants and what is the significance behind having a grant?
Okay. Long and short, grant is free money. It's not a loan. It's separate and apart. Grants are typically for nonprofits, those organizations that have 501c3 status. But as a for-profit business, that's where my specialty lies, because of course I'm looking for grants for my own business.
Right. Now, so having those grants, how can someone obtain those grants? And is it hard for someone to write it or charge people or outsource to writing grants?
Well, of course, I'm going to charge people so they can contact me. Yeah. But the easiest way I've found, now that we have AI, is to go into ChatGPT or one of the AI functions portals and just say, I'm looking for a grant for women. I'm a for-profit organization, and I want something that I can apply for within the next year. My startup, I've been in business maybe 5 years. My revenue is such and such. Push the button. And also, got to add the most important part, provide the links. Yeah. And when I tell you, it gives you so many grants. That is the simplest, most efficient way to look for a grant. The more specific you are when you put in the prompt, the more you'll get something that is tailored to what you're looking for.
Wow. So knowing that AI is out there, right? And everything you just stated, do you find it to be more competitive when people do that and trying to go for that grant versus before AI, people had to really outsource and really get help to identify, just to find that money? Because now if 10 people are going through ChatGPT and they're putting in all those requirements, the person who's who's giving the money, they have to really make their requirements a little harder. Have you seen that trend taking place, or is just all in the same?
No, there it seems to be a little bit of a disconnect right now.
Hmm.
The grant funders are still pretty much given the same qualifications. Now, on the other side, when they read the narrative, they may be able to kind of finesse it and say, this looks like it was written by AI. But they
Hmm.
also know that AI is a tool. But
Yeah.
I do want to address the part about the people like me who write grants
Hmm.
and charge a fee. There are always going to be people who you can sit them in front of AI and they just don't even want to type the prompt.
Yeah.
They don't want to do any of it. Just
Yeah.
here's a grant and write it for me, which always keeps us in business, grant writers in general in business. But AI hasn't quite caught up to the funders who are putting the grants out for us to apply for.
Now, with those funders, people who are funding, and I guess this probably may be, it could be anybody, but with you being the expert in this, who's funding? Who's normally giving money, and how can someone obtain it? Because we know funds in DC are different from funds in Wyoming, right? When people are starting, how can they get that? And if um I know it probably may be, hey, stipulations where you have to reside here, or are there grants that could cross state lines?
Okay, grants.gov are federally funded grants. Grants.gov. So
Okay.
those are nationwide. And then there are going to be some specific to your locality. Like here in DC, we go to DSLBD. I'm using acronyms that most people don't know about, but it's where most businesses go to do their registration. They have a
Mhm.
whole portal of grants for your particular locality. When it comes to state grants, I would go to your local chamber of commerce or your city or municipality economic development center, and they can help you find grants too. And
Mm,
there's also one more, the small business development centers.
mm,
Each state has those. They are
mm.
sponsored by the Small Business Administration, and they are here to help you, not specifically with grants, but to walk you through every step of your business to include finding grants and helping you write them.
Wow. Because, just listen to what just the information you stated there. I know one person may be thinking, like, oh my goodness, how can I? How can I go about getting this grants? And we know that if I had to use like a shape, a triangle, right? We know
Mhm.
at the bottom, there's so many people, right? If I just have to use a smaller number, there's what, 50 people at that bottom. But it just takes a few that moves up that ladder, that move up that triangle to the very top. Now, have you seen like small business really get a fully funded for their organization or for their businesses, that who's not nonprofit? you know if a person, if an organization or an entrepreneur is not nonprofit, have you seen where they've been fully funded, not partial but fully? Because we know starting as a as an entrepreneur, it's it's hard at the beginning. You're putting in so much, it's like you almost going into the red because you didn't have things, so you have to obtain things in order to run the organization, but the money is just not flowing fast enough. So if there's someone who has like a small business, let's say 10 people under in themselves, have you seen where they've been fully funded, and how has that worked for someone, or just to inspire somebody who may be lacking in funds?
I totally understand the question. And yes, I have written grants for people who are for profit, new businesses, and seen them get fully funded. When
Mm,
with those particular grants, it's all about the narrative.
mm,
They want to see, because it'll ask you exactly what you're using the grant for, what you want the money for. But most of them, for startups, they want to see the narrative And most of those narratives, they want to see how you're going to help your community.
Mm.
And if you have a good narrative, a good community engagement story, and a good story about
Yeah.
yourself, they seem to really take off.
Wow. Wow.
This
And
is the place you got to brag about yourself.
yeah, and that's a key component because that's something I've always, of course, I'm not saying I'm private, but I'm private but public, right? And really to let go and really bring those testimonials out and really share
Yes.
those inner thoughts because you're fighting, you don't know who you're fighting against. You don't know how many people are in the bucket. And really just to be vulnerable enough to really explain and really say, hey, XYZ, I'm this and that, when no one don't even know that. Right. And to tell the unknown, it's like, oh my God, I'm really putting myself on front street because in my head, as you was talking, I'm like, don't they have to like really set themselves apart? And it goes back to the Chat GPT where we know, and I think you stated as well that, people just put their prompt in or they just let it do and they don't even try to copy or try to organize it according to their thoughts. They just say, okay, here it is. And I'm just putting it because now everybody's beginning to see that site what Chat GPT look like, their
Yes.
format.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know, if you do not form it into yours, it's kind of okay, did you really take time or did you just put it in here to organize that? Now, have you ever done where how long before I ask that question, let me go back. What is the normal length on a grant for an individual who applies till they receive it or probably don't want to say but get denied? What is the average time on that?
Uh, it just really depends. Here in the district, they typically will open a grant, it'll stay open for a couple of months, and they'll
Mhm,
tell you within 6 weeks, we're going to announce who gets it. But
mhm,
I've also seen them where you just putting it in, they may give you a date. There's so many variables. So there
mhm.
are those you just put it in. You
Okay.
don't know. There's no deadline. It's called like a universal grant or rotating grant where
Mhm,
it just keeps going and going and going, and you may get picked up in a particular cycle.
mm.
Most of those grants will never tell you that you weren't picked up. They will say, we got your application and thank you. And then
Mm.
you won't hear from them again unless you get the grant. Then there are those that have a deadline and are more structured, and they'll let you know this is when the money will be dispersed. This is when you'll find out, because typically those type of grants operate on a fiscal year system.
Mhm.
So this is another little nugget I want to tell people. Like in the district, because I'm real familiar with that, at the end of the fiscal year, August, September, typically they have a whole lot of money left over. Really hone in at that period of time to
Mm.
apply for those grants, because they out here giving it up. They
Yeah.
out here giving it up, girl.
Yeah.
So I encourage people, when they look at them, you really have to do some homework on the funders organization,
Mhm.
and then try and find where you fit in and when best to apply. But
Wow.
I would say 6 weeks to 8 months from application to hearing whether you got it or not is pretty general.
Wow. Because I'm just, if you're in need of this money and you're looking, like you stated, because I never would have given a thought that they wouldn't put an ending, but just to leave my application in osmosis, it's like, wow. It's like I did all this work. I did this grind because some of them really want you to have like this binder, digital binder, to have all this information just to prove we're giving you $2,000. And then for my application just to sit in osmosis and not say nothing. It's wow. It's all
It's diabolical. But the good thing about that, Miss Joy, is, and I always look at the positive,
yeah.
it's practice.
Yeah.
And the more you do it, the
Yeah.
better you're going to get at it. And the better your folder that you're going to keep on your desktop that
Yeah.
says grants, Your narrative is going to grow.
Yeah.
Your profit and loss statement is going to stay updated. You're going to be ready for the next one and the next one. And what I tell people is always apply.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can look at the requirement and they may say veterans only or guys only. You know you're not going to get it. But
Yeah.
if there's some way you can slide in that door, I apply for everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm a person that applies for most everything that I see
You're right.
because I have a folder and I'm always grant ready.
Mm. So in order to be grant ready, you got to just you just have to do grants because that's the only way to get over that hump. Listening, it's like, okay, in order to have this file ready, all the documents that they needed. Because now, do you find yourself when you're writing or, applying, you writing or applying for grants, they basically asking for the same information or it's a little nuance here and there?
For the ones that are like repetitive or high level, like state and local, you're going to get pretty much the same things. Your
Mm,
URL, they want you to have a website. They don't want you to have an Instagram business. They want to see your profit and loss statements maybe for the last year or how
mm,
you made revenue. But they also understand when it's a startup, some of those things may not be available to you.
mm.
But 9 times out of 10, EIN number, website URL, a lot of them are asking for your social media links. So, people, please make sure your social media is clean.
Wow.
Have a business social media account.
Yeah.
And typically, they're going to ask about your revenue and always what are you going to do with the money if you're awarded.
Correct. Wow. That is amazing. So we're definitely going to come back after these messages. For Miss Sharon have told us some great stuff. And I'm looking forward to hear more about the requirements because we know that we are here in 2025, about to enter into 2026. And some of us need to do some cleaning. We need to do some cleaning. So stay tuned. I have my guest, Miss Sharon, back on after these messages. We're going to have her talk about more requirements and how to get the money and where the money resides. Officially stepped into the second quarter of the year, and this is our moment to refocus, recharge, and recommit. So you too could join Coffee with Joy show and get in your welcome back to Coffee with Joy. Thank you all for tuning in. Please make sure if you would like to patronize our company, please make sure that you follow our QR codes to the end. Any donation would do. So without further ado, I'm gonna bring my guest, Miss Sharon, back on. Hey, Miss Sharon.
Hi, Miss Joy.
I mean, when we went on break, you have stated some great points here. So I want to go back to these requirements because I think people, they just, some people just wake out of the bed and say, I'm just going to cut hair, not knowing that this is a list of things you need to have prep ready to go. If you're serious about being a business owner, you just can't say, okay, I'm going to get up and just cut hair. And it's probably good. But now we need to make yourself official. Now, you said some requirements. Now, can we go back to the social media? Because I think that's where a lot of people are being hemmed and being held on because they want to put everything into this social media. Why is the social media so important when applying for grants?
When a funder asks for your social media URL or link or your name or handle, they're going to go look at it.
Yeah.
And it's just like a job interview, or it's just like, think if your grandmother is looking at your social media, would you want your grandma to see some of the stuff you put on social media? So I have a personal account. I have a business account. Everything on my business account is business. There may be, people are out there on TikTok saying just post, post, post. You just standing there, you just looking crazy. Put some valid content about what you do. Tell your story. Tell how you got from here to there, but don't just be doing TikTok dances and then a funder is going through your catalog and that's all they see. So make your content valuable.
Wow. And see, and as much as one may say, "Oh, that's I know that," you'd be surprised, but some people still don't do that. You'd be surprised how people just want to leave that because they feel as though I'm telling my history, I'm telling my story. This is part of what I am doing, but it really does not correlates to where you at right now. And constantly hearing, it's been said several times, clean up your social media because it's such a that's your soft resume, right? People go
Yes,
after that. And if you're truly into what you're doing, this is where you're able to market yourself. It's free
yes,
PRs, free marketing. Why wouldn't anyone look there? Because it's like, okay, you're serious. Even like with myself, making sure that Coffee with Joy is presentable by, various things, all things that we do, whether it's a speaking engagement or we're out on the field or we're here in studio. It's various things to show how can I continue to market because as a small business, money gets funny. So you got to do what you can because I know God is giving you everything that you need to produce what you need to go so that when you're able to obtain, but many people still does not get that. So now overall, like you stated with the URL, if someone is having a problem getting a website, what do you suggest for them to do? Or if they don't know how to start up in order to
um,
obtain?
a website, some of the easiest ones are like WordPress,
Yeah. Mhm.
Squarespace, GoDaddy. It doesn't have to be fabulous, but what it shows is that you're serious.
Right. Right.
That's the main thing that they're looking for. Why should I invest and give you money if you aren't investing in yourself?
Mhm. Mhm.
And so that's what I know that it's a lot of businesses on Instagram,
Yeah, yeah.
and they always call, I want to get some money for my apparel. There are 10 million t-shirt companies. All you have started is a Shopify store or whatever the kind of store is. You haven't registered your business. You haven't done anything to legitimize. So why are they going to give you $10,000
Mm.
when you haven't invested 200 to go get your business license?
Mm.
So I want people to really think about that as they start their business. Is it a hobby or is it a business?
Yeah. 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 So definitely the EIN number, your website, your
Your
social media.
business license, your
Yes.
financials.
Yes.
And most of us don't have, typically, as a startup, you are in the rears for the first 5 years.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
just statistically how
Yeah.
it is. So the funders know this. So don't be afraid to be honest
Mhm.
about where you are financially because that's why they're here to help you build. If they believe in what you're doing, it's okay. If they don't, then you won't get funded. So think about that. Would your neighbor, your girlfriend, your family believe in what you're doing?
Mhm.
You
Mm.
have to take a honest look at yourself
Yeah.
as you apply. But then there's the math.
Mhm.
If you apply for 500 grants, you may get 10. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So some people fund their entire business solely on grants.
Mhm. So now that we hear with the grants, like what are normally that people have to explain what they're going to do with that grant? Because a lot of people say, "Oh yeah, I'm looking for this grant," but really sometimes they don't even know what they want to do with it when being asked.
If they don't know what to do with it, they need to pause.
Yeah.
Because if I say, Miss Joy, I got $500 to give you, and you tell me, well, I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. You think I'm gonna give you the $500?
And see, here's the thing too. I but it may seem oxymoron with one say, I would know what I want to do with the money. But you doing with the money, would that work with the funder? You have to really ask yourself some hard question because truthfully in your heart, you may say, yeah, I wanted to get every staff a jacket. I don't know. But That may be true. But to a funder, it's like, uh, let's think more. So some people say they want that, but without really detailing what do I need to really advance my business. What is very important. What is because before going for the grant, I think you will have to do that and really ask because what some people may ask for, the funder's like, have you ever seen where or seen or written or someone have wrote something that was like, you really asking money for this? Or something that's because I know you have to have seen some stuff and you're like, you're really asking money for this? Like
I
you a
look at
business.
some of the stuff and I'm like, really?
Hmm.
Typically, most grants for startups, marketing, promotion materials,
Hmm.
maybe administrative assistant,
Yeah.
supplies, inventory. Those are typically what you're going to need to support the money.
Right.
You may need business coaching. You may need a mentor that may cost some money. You may need some courses to take, but
Mm.
you do not need some new luggage by Louis Vuitton to go to a conference in Miami. You know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I know we're laughing
so,
about it, but it's serious how some people really
oh
think
my,
that, yeah, and somebody may say, oh, that's not a question, but you believe it's the simplest thing that we take for granted that people are so serious about, and it's just in life. Some things we take for granted, like everyone should have a bathroom. Some countries don't even have bathrooms. So until you actually think outside the box, you'll be, for lack of saying, dumbfounded. Like, wow,
I
you.
just want people to, when they, after they watch this,
Mhm,
say, oh, yeah, I want to apply for some grants.
mhm,
Sit down and take a hard look at where you are and where you want to go.
mhm.
And in between where you are and where do you want to go, what things do you need
Yeah.
financially to support you to get to that level in terms of running your business?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And that's just, it could be office space. You may want to rent some office space.
Yeah.
So that's when I kind of like get more involved when people
Okay.
are not sure how they have an idea how they want to use the money, but they don't know how to enunciate it or write about it.
Mhm.
And when you dealing with money, they want specificity.
Yeah.
A lot of grants will require receipts
Mm.
for what you say you're going to. Okay, here's the 10,000. We need you to do a report within 6 months. You'll sign a contract. If you don't produce what they say, then
Yeah.
you're liable. And then and I may be getting a little ahead, but
No,
there are
you're good.
also reimbursable grants.
Mm.
They'll say, okay, you're doing stuff in the community. You got a project. Do you have a project you've been working on? Or do you need some money to help you get to the next cycle? I've written grants for people who have had their back taxes paid, had
Mm.
their rent on their places paid their utility bills, and it's reimbursable. Keep your receipts, keep
Right.
good records, and then when they say, okay, show me your receipts up to 10 grand, and they just cut you a check.
Mm.
So you have to stay organized in what you do
Right.
as well.
And just think now, outside of the grants, if somebody who's an entrepreneur and probably missing a few components of what you just stated, right? Are there any courses that they can get so they could get their self right? Because many people they just start a business, but they really don't know about ledger, they don't know about, getting the money in order or EIN. Are there any courses they can go after or like a certificate course or something that can really advance because people can read, but if you're not guided or if you're not led in the right direction, you still be all over the place thinking you're doing something right when really you never left the starting line.
Miss Joy,
Mhm.
this is a good question. There, and I'm always scouring and looking and
Yeah.
seeing who's doing what I'm doing and how can I do it better.
Yeah.
There are so many online courses
Mm.
for everything.
Yeah.
What I would recommend is either myself, reach out to me,
Mhm.
or go to your local business development center. Go to your state office where you get your business license. If you have a business account, go to your bank. These establishments that have foundations want to see you succeed.
Yes.
So they have back office, front office training programs that will walk you from beginning to end
Mm.
because it's in the benefit of the community for these small businesses to succeed. It's
Yeah.
vital.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would not, I'm not going to say it. I'm going to say it, but I'm going to probably walk it back. I would not sign up too much for all these online courses.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm an in-person learner.
Yeah.
I need hands-on. I want somebody to touch this paper and show me how to do and walk me through from beginning to end.
Yes.
I'm a hand holder and
Yeah.
I like my hand being held.
Yes. 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 I am with you 100%. I'm an in person. That online, I get kind of flustered, and it's like, not to equate us to dogs, but I need to have a leash to be guided. You know, you take me off the leash, I'm going to roam, and I don't
Me
miss the
too.
whole direction.
I'm gonna be looking over there. I'm gonna be
Oh,
looking for a snack over there.
I don't miss. Now I know we in this direction, but you didn't. I'm in the street instead of the sidewalk. You won't be on the sidewalk. I'm on the grass. So I totally understand where you need to. If you're serious, you really need to be
Yes.
grounded. So you become so independent on it where you're focused. But if you know you're not focused, you need to be handheld. And I am
Yes.
there. I am the one who needs to be handheld. So before we conclude the show, Miss Sharon, can you tell us a little bit about your business and how can someone reach out to you and really look forward to, if they're serious about grants and they're looking for grants, how can they come to you? Tell us about your business and how can they find you?
Again, I'm the Business Vision and Development Center, and my purpose is to serve our underserved community. And I'm going to just give you this real quick.
Mhm.
When
No
I
worries.
started working at the Small Business Administration, I realized that my community didn't know how to tap in to the resources
Mm.
that were available to them. And so I became a conduit between them and SBA. And that's how I started.
Mm.
And so if you need to reach out to me, my website is www.thebvdcenter.org. Click get started. There's a little checklist. You can say what you need. You can email me info@thebvdcenter.org and I'll get in contact with you. But again, I'm a hand holder. I'm
Mhm.
going to take you from beginning to end. I find that most of the clients that I have, they're like family and friends.
Mm.
Most of them are in Ward 7
Yeah.
because that's where I live and work. So, but I just want people not to be afraid because I know to be like, how much she gonna charge? Girl, sometimes I get on that phone and we be chatting for hours and you don't get an invoice. But that's neither here nor there. And I also like to spotlight my small businesses.
Mhm.
So I also want you to subscribe to my YouTube channel,
Yeah.
the BVD Center, the Business Vision and Development Center.org. And Miss Joy, I've been all over your social media all day today. Okay. I left you some comments.
Yeah.
Make sure you respond.
Y'all hear that, people? Make sure I respond. I get to it at night and I say, okay. And that's where I get to my responding. Yes, I am up to it. Yes. Thank you so much, Miss Sharon. But before we go, what keeps Miss Sharon going? affirmation prayer, because we know life is life. Everyone's trying to take this wheel and hold on tight and really drive in a straight line. Well, we know that sometimes it's the possible to the impossible. But what keeps Miss Sharon going?
I am a firm believer. Sometimes I don't like to say this because sometimes people not in your tribe,
Yeah.
but I am a law of attraction, manifesting, energy, vibe getting kind of woman. God first, always. But I have learned that it's a cliche kind of saying, your thoughts create your reality.
Mm,
And I believe that vehemently. Everything I've thought, I've come to see
yeah.
come to fruition.
Yeah.
So I tell my business owners, don't get boggled down in the no's. The
Yeah.
yes is coming. The no is a time for you to learn, take that no, figure out why it was a no,
Yeah.
learn from it, and move on and never give up. Never
Mhm.
give up.
Yes. That is, your thoughts create your
Did we
reality.
clock that T?
Yeah.
Did we clock that T?
Yes, we did. Yes, yes. So again, thank you so much, Miss Sharon, for being on Coffee with Joy Talk Show podcast. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you all for joining in. Please make sure that if you have any questions or if you have any inquiries, please make sure that you reach out to Miss Sharon. I know that she's a wealth of knowledge and grants for every business should be looking for outsource, because who wants to pay money back? I hope not. But please make sure that you reach out to Miss Sharon. And if you'd like to patronize our company, please make sure that you follow our QR codes here. And if you'd love to be a guest, please make sure that you go to my social media sites or my website, which is thecoffeewithjoyshow.com. And we look forward to hearing and seeing you. For we know that every conversation starts with a topic, starts with every topic starts with a conversation. No matter what in life, it starts there. So as always, if it's a weekday or weekend, it's Coffee with Joy. Until then, you all live life on purpose, and see you all soon. Have a good day or night.